My mother uh, didn't like sugar, so she never enjoyed any pastry. She never enjoyed cakes and cookies, and consequently, she didn't offer any of those to us except on Modern Sunday and very, very little other. Of course, we still, as children, tested sugary stuff, uh, but it was not our preferred uh, items. For my mom, what was most important was cheese, actually. So I traveled to Nigeria and I discovered uh, bitterness. My first test was the very year I came to Nigeria. I went to market looking for lettuce for my salad. At that time, I was still living alone. My fiance was away in his location teaching. And I looked at leaves. There were lots of leaves, but obviously I didn't know any of them. There was oha, there was bitter leaf, there was all kinds, but I didn't see lettuce. I thought it was lettuce that I bought, but actually it was bitter leaf. And the people that were, the women that were selling it were smiling at me, and probably they thought she's not too sure she's buying that, is she? And so I bought this little leaf, bitter leaf, very happily came back, and prepared it for salad. And then I put it in my mouth, and I remember a foreign taste. I didn't know what it was, but it was obviously completely unedible. No, there was no way I could swallow that. So I left it, didn't understand what it was all about, and later on found out that it was bitter leaf and that I was not supposed to eat it raw like that. And then gradually I discovered other things like the chewing stick. That was what people used mostly at the time at Nsuka. And in the market, you bought the chewing stick and, in little bundles, and then masticated the thing, and I learned very, very efficient against all kinds of mouth diseases, and it was quite nice actually. So I started using it, and and then I discovered kola nut, and kola nut was mostly a man's affair at the time, but I tested it, and I found out another bitterness, another flavor of it, and it was quite interesting that kola nut was so important. It was the one that you give to visitors, the one that precedes and starts every ceremony, every discussion. Even the way it was presented on a particular wooden cup, plate, added with peanut butter and mimi. It was really nice, and I loved mimi and other accompaniments. And it was also the symbol of love, welcoming, goodwill. So much that if you have an enemy, the enemy will not dare swallow the kola nut, because otherwise it would negate his feelings concerning you. And then there was another one. That was bitter leaf soup. That was, those bitter leaves I had bought initially, but washed, cleansed, cooked, and it became my favorite soup. And I loved it, and I was really interested in the way the children in the house, when they prepared it, washed it and washed it and washed it to make sure, just like you wash bed sheets in my local village in France. And then, of course, there was dongoyaro against malaria, those leaves that were also bitter. So actually, it turned my world a bit upside down. I never had a sweet tooth, but definitely after living in Nigeria, I loved bitter stuff, bitter leaf, bitter stuff, and I enjoyed it. And once we were traveling on the plane, taking we took the plane to France, and on the way we were served food in the plane, and it included a bit of cake, little cake, and the children looked at it, grimaced and said, "What is that?" Because it was not part of our diet, and we just had to struggle with it. It was not, not nice. The only sugar we enjoyed in Nigeria was sugar cane that we bought in the market and, soaked in bits and pieces. And that was a big, big discovery.